All right, all right. It looks like we are in and we are live. Welcome, 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 everybody to Square Biz. I am Ty, and today we are talking about building business credit in 2022. Now, I've done a video on this last year, sometime last summer, about how to build business credit, how to start getting, credible. Getting like money and funding, loans, credit cards, and things like that for your business. And I talked about that last summer. And this time, I kind of wanted to for 2022, I kind of wanted to go live, take your questions if you have and answer them live so that we can kind of like just discuss how to build your business credit in 2022. And without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and kick this off. And if you got questions, just go ahead and put them in the comment section. And once I get them in, I will answer them as I can, but also trying to stick to the timeline we have here, just the outline and going over everything specifically. But don't worry, because at the end of this, I'll open it up for more questions. Kind of want to stick to just setting up the business today. But if you have questions about anything else, let me know. Just a little bit of background about me. I'm Ty. I'm here in Baltimore, Maryland, and I actually own two businesses. One is my very own business, and the other one is a partnership with some friends of mine. And so I've been a business owner now for about it's probably going 4 to 5 years now. And just through the course of that, I, basically, my first business basically is in real estate. And so I own a couple of rental properties. And so just trying to figure out how can I use other people's money, so to speak, either whether that's through business, through credit or my personal credit loans or something like that. How am I able to get the funding I need to kind of purchase houses, use that money to flip, and then break things out. And so that's kind of how I got on my business credit journey, so to speak. And today we'll jump right in. I'm gonna let you guys see what I have up here. Um, Basically building business credit. And as we move through, I want to go over the first thing. Slightly, it's a little wonky, but whatever. What is business credit? And basically, it's just the ability for your company to borrow money and pay it back at a later date. And sometimes it's not even money. Sometimes it's equipment. Sometimes it's supplies. It can be anything that your business obtains, but doesn't necessarily have to pay for right up front. And so that's basically the basics of business credit. And then for me, what I think about business credit, and just over this 5 year span, I've always thought about it being like a three-tiered or a three level, or in my case, I like to say a tripod of what business credit is. And a lot of people just think that, hey, I can jump into business credit, right? And I don't have to have good personal credit. I don't have to have any of that. I can get hundreds and thousands of dollars with just using my EIN for my business, and I don't even have to, you know, uh, I don't even have to use my social security number. Well, that's not true. I mean, you can get credit without using your personal social security number or your personal credit profile. You can do that for business, but you're not going to get the hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars that you think you're going to get. And a lot of times I tell people, don't believe the hype. There's a lot of people out there that say, oh, I can do this for you, I can get this much for you, and they have you paying, thousands of dollars so that you can get hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it doesn't really pan out. So I always think of business credit as just a three-tier or a three tripod type thing. And the first leg of that tripod will be your personal credit. Now, listen, I understand some of us aren't always in the best place we want to be when it comes to our personal credit. We may, have scores 5, 6, something like that. But if you want to be successful in getting the business credit or the loans and the credit cards or the lines of credit that you want for your business, you got to really take care of that personal credit. Because if you don't take care of that personal credit, a lot of your lenders, a lot of your different other companies that give out credit, they're going to look at your personal credit. They're going to do either a hard pull, they're going to do a soft pull or anything like that, and they're going to see where you stand. And so I always tell people, hey, start off there, get your personal self together first, and then start your business. And when you start your business, you'll open yourself up to business credit. And so the next tier I would say is your business credit profile, and trying to set that up. And in your business credit profile, looks similar to your your personal credit profile. There are three major business credit bureaus, and that's Dun and Bradstreet, Experian Business, and Equifax Business. And you're able to see these your business credit score on nav.com. If you go there and you pay the $39 a month, I believe, for their NAB Business Boost, you'll be able to get all of your business credit scores, and you're also able to get your personal credit scores as well. I would say that's probably the best place to get it all at one, all in one. I guess look right. You can see all of them at the same time. But if you want to get like specifically into each bureau's account, then you definitely want to log into their websites, whether that's Dun and Bradstreet, whether that's someone said Navient canceled my student loans. Navient and nav.com, two separate entities, entities, April. But that's good that they canceled that. Because I know what's going on with student loans and everything like that out here. But nav.com is where you're gonna basically pull your personal credit and your business credit, and you'll get to see all of that all in one place. But if you want to get specific, then you want to go ahead and log into those actual credit bureaus websites and pull down your whole business credit profile there. And then the last leg of this tripod is, well, and it's really the first, but the last one I'm going to speak about today is going to be setting up your business, the business foundation of just having a business. It doesn't matter if you're looking to get business credit or not. I still think if you're going to start a business, this is the best place to kind of like set it up and check all the boxes off of that. Y'all excuse me. I am stumbling over words and stuttering, but we're going to get through this. All right. So before you even go to your Secretary of State on the website or downtown or wherever you need to go, the first is a couple of things that you should do to set the business up. And a lot of people skip this step. They go straight to the website and say, hey, this is my business name. This is, I'm gonna use my home address for it's a home business, right? So I'm gonna use my home address for that and go forward and don't really think about or allow the process to work, right? So I say these are the things that you need to do even before you get to your Secretary of State. And the first thing you want to do is think about the name. Now, the reason why I say you need to think about your name is because of this, right? There's such thing out here as high-risk businesses. High-risk businesses are those businesses that the banks or the lenders really consider high risk, right? That they either go under very quickly, they lose money with them or whatever have you. They deem these businesses high risk, and you need to make sure that the business that you're going to, not that you have to stray away from these businesses. If that's what you want, if that's the kind of business you want to create, that's fine. But that name, you want to make sure the name doesn't identify that right off the bat, because a lot of times lenders will see the name and they'll say, okay, this is Smokers R Us, right? And cigarettes, tobacco, and things like that is considered high risk, especially for a small business, right? Because there's, tobacco companies that have been around for hundreds of years, and now you're a small business and you're trying to get into that. They're going to say, oh, it's kind of high risk, and you might not get the funding that you're looking for. So I always say when you are naming your business, you want to make sure it's something broad, something general, and you also want to make sure you have room to expand. So an example of this could be like, let's just say you started a lipstick line, right? You have like all the colors and you're like, I want to start my business and I'm going to call it Ty's Lipstick. Well, I would say don't use Ty's Lipstick. I would say use something like Ty's Cosmetics, because you might start to venture into other types of cosmetics like, eyeshadow or nail polish or whatever have you. Just giving yourself, allowing your business room to grow, that allows for you so that you don't have to keep going back and getting DBAs. And there's nothing wrong with that. DBAs are free. DBAs are basically, it's called doing business as. It's basically a nickname for your business, right? And a lot of big companies have a lot of DBAs. But you just want to make sure that you have room to grow in the business, and you don't want to identify it as high risk. And high risk can be credit repairs, adult entertainment, lotteries, gambling, pawn shops, 1-800 services, I said adult entertainment, right? So yeah, like the 1-800 call up. I don't even know if they do that anymore, but those type of things, and subscription boxes. And that's a really big thing that's been happening like the last couple of years, especially during the pandemic. is the subscription boxes. Those are considered high risk as well. So if you have one of these as a business, and it's a long list of them, these aren't just it. This is just like a summary. Just want to make sure that when you naming it, your name doesn't readily identify it as a high risk business, because you can really, sometimes some lenders will just automatically deny you for it. The next thing you want to do before you get to your Secretary of State is you want to get a business address. Now, most businesses are going to have anywhere from 2 to 3 different addresses. Why? Okay, so you'll have your physical address, which is like the main business address. And I always tell people, don't use your home address, don't use a PO box, don't use the UPS store. When it comes to the home address, this is the time lenders want to see that you are taking your business seriously. If you take your business seriously, then they'll take you seriously. And so you want to separate your personal life, so to speak, and your business life. So you want to separate the business and the personal. Now, I'm not saying that you can't use your home address, because a lot of people, that's where they start off at. And that's fine. But you want to graduate to either, like, if you don't have your own physical space, you want to graduate to something like a virtual office. And right here, that first bullet there where I talk about Regis, Alliance, and Opus, those are different companies that offer that. You log into there, you put in your zip code, your address, and they'll find different either co-working spaces or different offices, business parks in your area that you can use as your business address for a fee, of course. And they will retrieve your mail. They will forward your mail to you. Some of these companies may even be a receptionist or reception desk for you, like Opus. I believe Opus has a few companies that offer that, a few businesses in your area. And Opus being one of probably the better ones, because they actually report to the business credit bureaus on behalf of your company. But I would say I personally use Regis for one of my businesses, and for my partnership, we use Alliance. So I have no issues with either of those two companies, but I heard a lot of people talk about Opus and what they offer, and especially if they're reporting to the business credit bureaus, that's better for you. So you don't want to use your home address, you don't want to use the PO box, you don't want to use the UPS store. So with the PO boxes and the UPS stores, the reason is there, each state requires that a business has a physical address, like a place that you can go to, and this is where the business is. And you can't really do that with a PO box. And then the UPS store is iffy in some places, right? So some places the UPS store shows up as a residential address, and in some places it shows up as a PO box or a UPS store. To just, not even have to worry about any of that, I say use Regis, Alliance, Opus. And you wouldn't have to. Now, I know a lot of people like to use iPostal. I had a bad experience with iPostal, because some of the addresses, at least in my area, came up as I couldn't even register them with the Secretary of State using iPostal. So I tell people to stay away from that. You just don't want to have to go back, pay for that. Once you pay for it, then once you go and try to register with your Secretary of State, and they say, oh, nope, the address is no good. And so now you got to get a refund and then find another company. I would say stay away from iPostal, stay away from the UPS store, and don't use a PO box when it comes to trying to get a business address. So you'll get a business address, which is that physical address. And the second one will be a mailing address. And the mailing address can be your home address, right? That's no problem. When you do these applications, and you are filling out these applications for your business, it'll say, what's your physical address, right? And that's the one that you signed up with the Secretary of State. And then it'll say, what's your mailing address? And that may be where you want to forward the products or the credit cards or whatever they have for you there. That's no problem using your business mailing address as your home address. And then the last address that you can have as a business will be your registered agent's address. Now, the registered agent is basically a person or a company that receives your legal mail on your business's behalf. So let's just say you get sued, right? Now, if you put down as a registered agent yourself at your home address, then that means if your business gets sued, the person serving you, the court serving you, are going to come to your home address. Or let's just say you use it as let's just say you own a hair salon, and you put the hair salon down as your registered agent. And while you're in there doing someone's hair, someone comes and says, hey, Ty, we are serving you court orders, or you're summoned to come to court. Nah, you probably wouldn't look good for your business at that time, right? Especially if you're like in the middle of doing someone's hair. So I would say use a registered agent's service, and it's really really cheap. The one I have for both of my businesses is only $50 a year. So it's and they what they do is you just say, hey, instead of you going to this address or going to her home address or going to the business address itself, come to this address and serve the legal papers, and they take that on your behalf, and then they forward that information to you. That is what they do. A lot of law offices do this, which is really good, especially if you have a lawyer. Your lawyer can act as your registered agent. Now you can act as your own registered agent, but here's the other thing. Like me, I work a 9 to 5, and then I have two businesses on the side. And so if your registered agent has to be someone available to receive that legal mail between the hours of 9 to 5 on Monday through Friday. So if you're at work doing, whatever you do to, doing your job at your little work job, and they're coming to the business address or your home address to serve you because you said that you're the registered agent and you're not there, you can actually get a fine for your business, which and get yourself caught up in legal trouble that you don't want necessarily want to be in. So I will always say just outsource this to another company. Like I said, law offices do that. You can Google registered agents. Not every state requires one, but you can Google registered agents in your area, and the service is pretty cheap. So moving on here, your business phone number. All right, so you're gonna need a couple of business phone numbers. You're gonna need a local one, you'll need a 1-800 number, and you'll need a fax number. And that fax number, everyone's always like, fax, this is 2022, we don't need fax numbers anymore. Actually, yes, a lot of banks, a lot of your bigger banks still use fax machines. And it's really just a scan fax to go. You can do that. I use personally Grasshopper. Grasshopper will give you that local number. It'll give you a 1-800 number, and it'll give you a fax number to use for your business. It's too easy. I've actually had to fax some things out before to my bank when I was changing addresses and stuff like that, going back and correcting the things that I needed to make my business credible. I faxed some things over, so don't sleep on that, because the fax number can be important, and you don't want to not have it when you need it. Grasshopper does this Ring Central dial pad. Those are some places where you can get your business phone number. Now, listen, don't use a cell phone. Okay, don't use your personal cell phone as your business phone number. All right. I will say that is another place where you want to separate yourself from the business. You want to be a total separate entity, because when you go and you say, I want to be a LLC, I want to be a C Corp, or I want to be an S Corp, you want it to be separate, because you don't want to pierce the corporate veil, is what they say in legal terms, where they're saying, oh, they can't differentiate between you and your business. And when they can't do that, it means you've pierced the corporate veil. And so when something happens to you, if someone sues your business, they're actually suing you personally. So this is one of the areas where you can separate yourself from the business. Don't use your cell phone. Now there's some, like Verizon offers business cell phone lines and stuff like that. You can use that. I have no problems. I don't really like to talk about a lot of things that I don't personally use, or I've seen other people use and be successful with. But I believe Verizon is one of those that I've seen people get some success with. But make sure it's separate from just your personal line. All right. And we talked about the registered agent. Is, like I said, it's just someone who accepts that legal mail on your behalf, and you just don't want it to be, you. You will want it to be someone else at a different entity away from your business, because it can kind of mess up your business depending on what it is. All right, and so once you get all of that, you have the name. You know what it is. You know what you want to call yourself, and it's not high risk. And if it is high risk, then the name itself is kind of broad and doesn't identify it. You have your business address, you have a registered agent, you have your phone numbers, right? Also, I don't know if let me go back for a little bit, because I think I put it on here. Some things you want to do. You want to get the your website, the domain. Now, I'm not saying that you have to have a full website built out. You can just have a landing page that says your business, whether it's like Ty's Cosmetics, and it has like your business address on there, and kind of a description what the business is about. It could just be a basic landing page. But the reason why you're doing that, and you're doing that before you go to the Secretary of State, is because you want to establish that domain, and you want to get a business email address. And that domain, a lot of people like to go to use the free sites, right? There's nothing wrong with using free sites. When you want to do business. But what we're trying to do is build a credible business. And so when you want to build a credible business, you want people to take you seriously. And so you want to go ahead and buy that domain. So the domain is going to look anything like, if it's Tyreese Cosmetics, it's going to be www.tyreesecosmetics.com. It's not going to be godaddy.tyreesecosmetics.com, or Wix dot whatever free service allows you to build a website. You want this to be your very own website, and you can do something. You can buy this through Google, you can buy it through Wix, you can buy it through GoDaddy. Those type of sites will actually let you purchase your domain. And once you get that domain, then you want to get an email off of that domain. And what I mean is, the Gmails, the Yahoos, the AOLs, and all of that. You don't want to use those type of emails for your business. You want your email to look something like your name at yourbusiness.com, right? You don't want it to be Tyreese Cosmetics at gmail.com or Tyreese Cosmetics at yahoo.com. You want it to be at yourdomain.com, because lenders will look at this. Lenders will actually look up your business, right? And they'll see how serious you are about it, right? And if you're just using the free services, and don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people just aren't in the position to purchase every single thing. And I get it. You got to start from somewhere. And I don't ever want you not to start. You got to start from somewhere. But once you're able to afford getting your own domain and things like that, then you want to go ahead and do that and get a professional email account. Now, when I say professional, I get it, right? Respectability politics and all this other stuff. I get it. All I'm saying is, you want some place where people aren't side-eyeing your business, right? So you don't want to be, sexy kitten, sweet whatever at gmail.com. No, we want to be a business. We want to be a little bit more professional. So let it be like, it can be like your first initial of your name and your last name at yourdomain.com, or it can be info. If you don't want to put your name up there, it can be info at yourdomain.com, or contact at yourdomain.com, whatever it is. But nothing like identifying the things you do outside of your business. Because again, you don't want to get mixed up, and you don't want to pierce the corporate veil. And all of these things can be used against you or held against you. I hate to say it, like in the court of law, like they could be held against you when they're trying to prove their case. Give me a second, guys. I got to get something. It's Sunday. Whew. Okay. So, yep. So you want to get the website and the domain, and then the registered agents. Let's move along. We talked about all of that. Now, once you go and you have all of this, and you sign up to the Secretary of State, and you have all your information, you'll put that in, and then the Secretary of State say, hey, give us anywhere from 7 to 14 business days to make sure everything aligns, and then we'll send you a certificate of good standing or whatever have you. But once you get that, and the Secretary of State gives you the thumbs up and say, hey, this is now your business registered under your name. Here we go. Now, all of that information you want to go ahead and register in the 411 directory. You want to be able to be looked up. So when a lender is trying to look you up and get some background on your business, you have to register it. So the first place you want to go is listyourself.net. It is free to list yourself. And then you want to do Google businesses to list yourself there. Now, this is where I was telling you before, if you're using a PO box or a UPS store or something like that, this is where a lot of people kind of get in trouble with that, because Google may not allow you to register your business under that address if it deems it a PO box or UPS store or any type of service like that. So you got to be careful when you're picking out that physical business address. But once you do that, on listyourself.net, and you're able to Google search and find your business on there, you should be good. And then the next thing you want to do is go. This is probably one of the most important things to do to make yourself actually a business is go and establish a bank account. Now, a lot of times lenders will use the day that you establish your bank account as the day that your business was formed. Um, and it shouldn't be that, it shouldn't be too far off, right? Maybe 2 or 3 weeks, but a lot of times they use that as the day that you actually started your business. But you want to do that as soon as possible. I mean, the same, if you can, the same day that the Secretary of State says you're good to go, you probably want to go down to the bank and establish that business bank account. Your business bank account is not your personal account. That's another place where you have to separate yourself from the business, and the lenders are going to be looking at you separating yourself from the business. So you want to get the business checking account, and of course they're going to offer you savings accounts and whatever other accounts you want to get. There's a couple of places you can go. Wells Fargo has, you can get a Wells Fargo, Bank of America, all the big banks allow you to open up a business checking account. And then there's some places online with no fees where you can start a business checking account online for free. You can do that. Just whatever is your preference. I personally want to make sure that the bank that I choose has a physical location just in case I need to go in and talk to someone. And you're gonna want to go in and talk to someone, right? Because you want to have a good banking relationship with the bank that you have for your business, because sometimes you're gonna have to go in and kind of finesse it. I don't know if you guys seen on Netflix recently, was it in is it Inventing Anna, where basically this girl finessed her way to the top and almost got like some of the biggest banks in America to finance her business. I forgot, she was trying to open up something in like one of the most exclusive buildings in New York City. But she was like this close to getting there because she finessed it and she was working the relationships that she has. And when it comes to business credit, especially when you're trying to get like hundreds and thousands of dollars and millions, things like that, it is about a relationship. And so this is where you want to start that banking relationship. So credit unions in your area. I personally use Navy Federal because I am a veteran. So I use Navy Federal. I also use um, Chase. I use Chase for one of them. I have a couple of business banking accounts. You want to kind of, I would say, get a couple accounts. You need one, that's mandatory, but you want to have a couple so that you can have relationships at different banks. And I also say make sure that the bank has a physical location. I do have an online bank that does not have a physical location, just so I can have just so I can establish like other relationships with banks and things like that. But for your first one, the main one, definitely make sure it has a physical location somewhere around you. I also advocate, if you can or if you want to, I also advocate black banks. I have one of those being here in Baltimore. I use the Harbor Bank of Maryland to their business side, but that's just a personal thing for me. That is not nothing mandatory for you guys. All right. And then once you establish that bank account, then the next thing you want to do is get your Dun and Bradstreet number. And I don't know why I don't have it up here because that's one of the biggest thing. Why don't I have that on here, Tyreese? Because before you get to the bank account, you got to get your EIN number. And I could have sworn I had that up here, but okay, you got to get your EIN number, guys. Okay, so before you go to the bank, you got to get an EIN, and it only takes you about 15 minutes. You go to www.irs.gov, you get on there, you give them all the information that you gave your state, right? Put all of that in, and in about 15 minutes, they'll give you your EIN number. That is like one of the most important things. That's like your golden ticket. There's no reason why I didn't put this on the slide, but excuse me for leaving that out. Yep, you need that EIN before you get to the bank, right? Get to the bank, they're gonna ask you for that EIN. You'll give it to them, and you establish that bank account. And then after that, you'll go on to Dun and Bradstreet, and you can apply for your DNB number from Dun and Bradstreet, and that's going to help you when you start applying for Net 30 accounts with different business to business lenders and things like that. And those are really the basic steps. Just know that after you have registered with your state, go get the EIN number from the IRS. You don't want to do that before your state gives you the thumbs up, right? Because all the information that you give the state that they bless off on, you're going to give to the federal to the federales, to the federal government. So make sure that that is done after you've been approved by the state, and then you'll get the EIN, you'll get your Dun and Bradstreet number, and then you can start applying for the tier 1 net 30 accounts and things like that. So right now I'm just going to open it up to anyone having any questions. April and Christopher, I appreciate you guys coming through and putting and typing in the chat. But if you have like any specific questions that you think I want to answer, whether it's about setting up the business or whether it's about just, hey, applying for this, or what do I need for that, you guys just let me know, and we can answer those, and I'll just open the floor for that. But in the meantime, while we are while I'm doing that, I want to go make sure I go through and pull up some things that we talked about as far as like I said, the business phone number. You can see, you can go to Grasshopper, Ring Central, Dial Pad. Of course, it's going to be is of course it's going to be a fee for that. Yolanda, hey Yolanda, what's going on? She says, how long does it take to get the DUNS number? Now I'm gonna tell you like this, Yolanda, in my experience, the state of Maryland, where I am, I didn't even have to apply. They applied for me, so to speak. They So it took maybe a week after I signed up with the Secretary of State, and we went in. We already are, for both of my businesses, I already had that. But if you go and apply if you're not in the state of Maryland and you go in and apply, that DUNS number should not take long. And I've seen anywhere as little as 3 days up until like 14 business days. And I'll tell you like this, if you haven't seen it in 3 days, definitely give them a call to try to figure out what's going on. There was some backlog for a long time during the pandemic. A lot of that's been kind of, I think we're still in the backlog actually, but I've seen it anywhere as little as 3 days, all the way up to 14 business days. And anything beyond that is kind of egregious. And I would definitely give them a call to get that number. Hey, what's up, Carolina's own? I appreciate you coming through. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all make sure y'all check out the Carolina's own YouTube channel. That's a friend of mine, Audrey. He basically goes live every Wednesday, and he takes your business credit questions, and he also offers services and stuff that help you get your credit in the right place. So y'all make sure y'all check him out. He gives good information. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. What else we got here? Hey Marcus, good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's Sunday, guys, and I purposely did it today at noon because this is like the only day of the week that I have time to kind of like relax a little bit. Okay. Okay, so somebody said, Audrey said that the DNB is super slow. He says give him 30 days. So give him 30 days. I would still call after 72 hours, 3 days. I would still call because I told you for both of my businesses, those were kind of like automatic for us. April asks, she says, Experian sent me information to apply for credit cards. They sent me one for Walmart. What do you think? Will I have to accept a double-digit interest? What number should I not go beyond? Okay, so April, it all really depends on your situation. Are we talking business or are we talking personal? I was talking to my uncle the other day, and he was saying he kept getting Experian offers. You guys got to understand, these credit bureaus are also businesses as well. When you go to places like Credit Karma, even NAV, they get money off of you applying for credit cards or credit through their website. So when they send you those things, know that it's kind of like twofold. Okay, so you'll click on that link and you go apply and you'll get approved, and they get money for that. Just because they send it to you doesn't necessarily mean that's something you should have, and it's really dependent on what your credit profile looks like if you want it. But if I would say, just we got to have a goal when it comes to business credit. Like, what do you want to do? What are you looking for? Are you looking to purchase, equipment for your business? Are you looking to get credit because, like for me, when it comes to like real estate, you might need to have reserves or something like that. But you just got to figure out what that goal is, and does that credit offer align with what you want out of getting business credit? So just let me know whether that was like a business or a personal thing. And then as far as double digit interest, listen, when you don't have a full credit profile, or your business, I'm sorry, your personal credit score is kind of low, you're not gonna get the best rate offers. And a lot of the, especially when it comes to charge cards and things like that, you're gonna see that you're gonna have like double digit 20, 21, 22, 23% interest, because they want you to pay, well, they twofold. They want you to pay it off, right? They want you to pay it off before the month ends. But if you don't, they also want to make money off of when you don't pay it off. So just be kind of aware of that. Let me see who we got. Yolanda, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Um, yep. I appreciate you. That Divvy, I would say, if you guys don't know about Divvy, it's a fintech company, and they have a credit builder program. They also have a business credit card. I would say it's probably the number one place for me. I would think Divvy is probably the number one place for small business owners to kind of start when they're applying for business credit. So I appreciate you, Yolanda. Thank you on that one. We got, yep, get the likes up if you can. Like, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys. It says, do you have to spend, who's this? Christopher says, do you have to spend a lot of money on your business credit cards for it to report to the bureaus, like gas cards as well? So some companies do have a minimum spend before they will report your account history to the business credit bureaus. It differs. Some of them don't have a minimum spend. I will say this: when you are getting those tier one companies, you want to make sure you get at least like 2,500 in the credit itself, and you want to use that. Um, you want to use the amount of money that you use. So if you got a 2,500 limit, right, and you buy $100 off of that company, you on your business credit report it says a high limit, right? That just basically says how much you've actually spent. You want to be able to show on the business credit report that you're able to get um, high credit limits, if that makes sense, and you're able to use that and pay that off um, successfully. I say that because a lot of people are looking at trying to use business credit, right, to buy cars through Ally and things like that. And that's another conversation I'm going to talk about, because a lot of people get, I would say, they are believing the hype when it comes to that and don't understand all the other two tiers, or the other two legs in the tripod and business credit when it comes to like getting the cars and stuff like that. If you don't have a business, you got to really focus on your business. That's one. If you don't have a business that's profitable, then business credit is going to be, in the long run, a burden on you, especially if your personal credit isn't right. Okay, so you want to make sure you focus on the business first. I know a lot of times, hey, I need supplies, I got to get this, I don't have money for that. Then we got to look at some other things, but focus on being profitable. um, there are some minimum spends with some companies before they report. Just depends on who they are. When it comes to gas cards, I'm not a fan of gas cards, but I know, Audrey, you like gas cards. I think he recommends like BP, Mastercard being one of the better ones um, when it comes to the gas cards. But I personally don't like gas cards as much. I've taken to them a little bit more because of the gas prices these days and the discounts you can get. But gas cards have a lot of fees that a lot of people don't realize when it comes to that, but they use it because they report to different credit bureaus. April, you said personal and business. Yep, just like I said, it just depends on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish with the business, and then what your business profile looks like. Just because they send you, I mean, everyone's going to send you some type of marketing so that they can get you to apply for something, right? So once you get approved for like Amex and Chase and stuff like that, you're going to start to receive like a bunch of credit companies and banks asking you to apply for theirs and get credit through them because they want you to use it. They want to make money off of you. But it just depends on your profile, where you're at, what you're trying to do in that space. Yep, yep. Audrey, the hype is real. So Audrey's saying, yep, the BP, the Mastercard there, and Fuelman. Those are the two gas cards he recommends, and the gas fees are a write off when it comes to the tax season. When it comes to tax season. What else we got? What else we got here? Oh, thanks, Wally. Thank you. Appreciate you, Audrey, bringing them in. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So listen, guys, I am not going to hold it up. Oh, who is this? April. As a beginner, what interest rate? You'll be looking at high interest rates, April, as if you're when you're saying beginning, and just credit period, you'll be looking at some higher interest rates than people with an established profile already. Um, so I can't give you a specific number or from or with like specific companies because it is based off of what your profile looks like. But as a beginner, as someone just new to credit, you are going to be looking at higher interest rates. And if you're able to do so, there's some secure credit cards out there to help you build credit. Divvy, like I said before, is one of the better ones because their credit builder program basically uses something like a secure credit card where you can actually build into their unsecured credit card. And they have a high approval rate as well for small businesses. I've seen just from my affiliate links, I've seen people get approved for as low as $500 all the way up to $50,000. And if you're in my private Facebook group, you can see that someone asked a question there about getting approved for Divvy, and I basically showed them the spreadsheet where I had people get approved for up to $50,000 and as low as $500 there. They really try to work with you, whether it was through the credit builder program or their actual unsecured card. And it's a like an expense management platform where you can track some of your expenses, sync it up with your bank, sync it up with what is it, your tax, your account, your bookkeeping software, whether it's QuickBooks or whatever have you. Divvy is really one of the better ones that I like to talk about a lot. And so when you use that strategy, they report to Dun and Bradstreet and they report to SBFE as well. When you use the strategy that happened in one of the videos, you're kind of double dipping, especially for companies that don't report to that, and you're building with Divvy at the same time. Should we say? She says credit score doesn't reflect the removal of the student loan. You know what, April? I only because I'm really not. I'm trying to piece it together. Do me a favor if you want to. You can join the Facebook group and then kind of in there, give me kind of like a, a a narrative of what actually you're trying to accomplish there. Because I know you said Navient was removed from your credit report, but your credit score isn't reflecting that. So I'm not really sure. And speaking of just the credit reports, guys, I believe in April is going to be the last month where you're able to get your free credit reports from each of this is the personal side, from each of the credit bureaus weekly, free. So normally before the pandemic, you only get it once a year, but during the pandemic, the last 2 years or so, you've been able to get it every single week. And so make sure you guys log into freecreditreport.com, I believe, and get that because you've been able to get that weekly for the past couple of years. And I believe they're going to stop that in April of this year of 2022. So a couple of weeks, if not days, from now. But yeah, April, I'm sorry. Only because I want to put it all together and give you my best personal opinion. Join the Facebook group, type it up in there, and I can give you a better assessment. And then you'll have other people kind of opine on what they think would be the better route. But I always say just make sure you know what you want to do when it comes to either your personal credit or business credit. What is the goal? What are you trying to accomplish with that? And then go from there because everything I don't have every single credit card out there. I have a lot more than I would probably if I wasn't doing this channel and trying to do research for you guys and let you know how some of these companies actually interact with you as a business owner. I probably wouldn't have as many business credit cards as I have. I don't use all of them. I use them to a certain extent, pay them off just so I can give you credible information when it comes to these credit cards out here because a lot of companies take advantage. A lot of people say some things that aren't true. And so I always just want to test it out. So I'm SquareBiz365 on Facebook. And there should be a link in the description of this video. And you'll be able to get into the Facebook group. and I'll see your name pop up. And once I see your name in there, I'll go ahead and add you. All right, guys. So I appreciate you coming out. This is my first live, and so I appreciate you coming out. This is first live since I was doing the podcast a couple of years ago with my co-host Silver, and so it's good to kind of get back into the groove of things when it comes to live. But I appreciate you guys coming through, asking your questions. Try to do a little bit more of these. I thought that the building business credit should have just more of a personal interaction, because there's a lot you can say. And like I said, I have videos on it if you just need like the step-by-step thing. And there's a lot of videos across YouTube. But on that, so thank you. And I will see you guys next time. I don't know when next time is going to be, but I'll see you guys next time, and we can discuss some more things when it comes to the business credit. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you join the private Facebook group. The links are in the description. All right, guys.